The 9 biggest SaaS marketing mistakes. Number 1, obsessing over leads and marketing qualified leads, MQLs. A lot of the time, what I see with SaaS marketing is that the marketing department becomes very, very good at one thing, and that is generating free trials or generating demo requests. The problem is that there is a huge drop off in the middle of the funnel when that handoff happens from the marketing team to the sales team. Instead, what SaaS marketers should be doing is filling that chasm between marketing and sales, because usually that is the low-hanging fruit that you can fix without spending a lot of money. How do you do that? Well, I'm going to give you 2 very specific tactical examples. 1, after somebody requests a demo, you immediately bring them to a calendar so that they can book the demo and schedule it. And then you send reminder emails to make sure they actually show up. But those reminder emails, it's not just reminding them when the demo is, it's continuing to sell the value proposition of the demo itself. You need to demonstrate to people that it is valuable for them to show up. So focus on that handoff from marketing to sales, and you'll get a much bigger lift in your performance. Another tactical example, continue to market to people after they become an MQL. All too often, marketers generate the demo request, they generate the free trial, and then they say, mission accomplished. Mission not accomplished. You need to do retargeting. You need to continue to advertise to people that have become MQLs. You need to continue to send marketing emails to those people. Often this is the result of optimizing your budget per MQL, a cost per MQL. Instead, you should be looking at SQLs, SQOs, pipeline revenue. And what that may mean is that the cost for free trial sign up, the cost per demo request may actually go up, but the overall customer acquisition cost will come down. Okay, number 2, the biggest strategic mistake that marketers make is they do not focus enough on partners. And there are different types of partners. One of the key ones that people ignore are key influencers. Key influencers are people that already influence your target customers. They already have clout, they already have credibility. One way you can find them is using this excellent tool called SparkToro. Influencer marketing, greatly underestimated. Other companies can also be partners, other software companies. Usually in the SaaS space, there's some critical piece of software that has a tight relationship with your target customer. This is the CRM, this is the ERP, this is the accounting system, it's the practice management system. That is the ideal partnership. That's where the trust is. That is the integration hub. You can also partner with companies that are similar size to you. You can partner with companies that are smaller. You can partner with small scale influencers such as lawyers, accountants, web developers, designers, all sorts of different types of people that influence your target customer. Now, this is particularly important when there's some trigger event where the demand for your product suddenly surges. So that might be something like a bankruptcy. Well, you're going to want bankruptcy lawyers to know about your product because they're going to influence the customer at that critical juncture. Now, this mistake is super common, and the reason is because SaaS marketers typically define the target market as the target customer. This isn't true. Part of your target market is also the partners, and you need to create value for partners just as much as you create value for end users and customers. Okay, number 3, this obsession with inbound content marketing, and in particular, high-level thought leadership. I don't know how many times I've looked at companies where they just keep cranking out content like they're journalists. Most SaaS companies, you're not the New York Times. You are not in the business of journalism. Usually what I see here is tons of value is created for the reader. The reader gets to solve their problem, they get entertaining content, they get useful information. But what's in it for the SaaS company if those people don't become customers? So usually what I see is tons of traffic through the blog. That's great, but if that doesn't convert to sales pipeline or to revenue, it doesn't really matter. So the solution is usually to stop focusing so much on high-level thought leadership, unless you're a very large company, and start talking more about problems that are very closely tied and can easily segue to your product and the problem that your product solves. One of the biggest problems with inbound content marketing is that it just takes a lot of time. You might be at it for a year before you're ROI positive, and that's fine if you're in it for the long haul. I've worked at SaaS companies where they've already been around for 10 years, and that's great. They have a long-term vision. You can invest in that sort of thing. But if you're very ambitious and you want quick results, probably not the best way to go. The best way to go, I would say, in terms of efficiency, instead of building an audience from the ground up and building a followership so that you're like a journalistic entity, is latch on to people that already have it. Latch on to the influencers, latch on to the publications, the PR agents, people that already have massive followings that you can tap into. Okay, number 4. SaaS marketers do not distinguish between a strategic purchase and a non-strategic purchase. They're not aware of this difference. So what most SaaS marketers do is they assume that they're selling a strategic purchase. Okay, so what is a strategic purchase? A strategic purchase is when you're buying a product that helps you differentiate your product to your customers. Okay, so for example, Jungle Scout is a strategic purchase. It's the software that allows Amazon sellers to figure out strategically what portfolio of products to offer. That's important because the portfolio of products differentiates one Amazon seller from another. But there are lots of SaaS companies, perhaps most SaaS companies, are non-strategic purchases. It doesn't differentiate, the SaaS does not differentiate your product to your target customers. An example of this would be a lot of these live chat plugins for your website. There's a bunch of them, and although they help with your revenue, they help with the customer engagement, they make communication easy, I love them. I've seen great performance with these. They're not strategic purchases because fundamentally, it doesn't change what you're selling and whether your customer chooses you or another. Okay, so the key problem there is that if you're marketing something as strategic purchase, you want to focus on how much different you are, you want to quantify how much more money you save people, but you're wasting your time. When you're selling a non-strategic purchase, just sell at a fair price, focus on lubricating the sales process, make it seem as easy as possible. That's how you market a non-strategic purchase. Don't talk about high-level benefits and how you're gonna completely change the company, completely revolutionize the profit, because if you talk like that, it's just gonna sound like marketing fluff, especially to target customers that are more technical. Okay, number 5, the assumption that benefits matter more than features. Sometimes that's true, okay? High-level benefits, sometimes that is the most important thing, especially when you're selling something that has psychological, emotional value. A lot of the time in SaaS, however, the use case is more technical, it's more feature-centric, it's more based on functionality and outcomes that are not high-level. So all too often when I go to a landing page or a home page for a SaaS company, they're talking in really abstract high-level senses. We're gonna save you tons of money. And I'm just thinking, okay, what the heck do you even do? What is your product? What's the product category? How are you gonna save me money? It's too high level. Let's talk more about features. Let's talk more about specifics and use cases, less about high-level benefits. Number 6, brief copywriting. There's this myth that pithy writing is somehow better. And sometimes, yes, I mean, people only have so much time. But if you're just being brief, you're being witty, you're using 1-2 word sentences with periods, you're not giving me enough information to make a decision. And this is a common problem I see with marketers where they want to talk high level. They don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of how the product creates value. They don't want to get into the technical because they're not product managers, they're not engineers. So they take the easy way out and they just say, oh, here's kind of a high-level brief overview, you can request a demo. And then what happens when they request the demo? They go into a conversation with the sales team. The sales team says this person's not qualified, they don't know enough of about the product. Instead, what you should do is provide a lot of detailed information, particularly information that addresses major objections. Does it integrate with this? Does it integrate with that? Is there a money-back guarantee? Get into some of the technicals instead of assuming that pithy writing is better writing. Okay, number 7, not quantifying your value proposition. This is a big mistake that marketers make when they're doing positioning with product marketing management. So what they do is they look at the different benefits, the different features, the category that their product's in, and they basically make a guess. They make a guess at here's the positioning that we're gonna take. But if you break down your value proposition into different benefits, different use cases, you can quantify which component is creating the most value, which one is actually creating the most cost savings, which one is creating the most time savings, exactly how much is it creating time savings or creating value. When you quantify your positioning, your messaging strategy, your value proposition becomes much, much clearer, and it becomes easier to do sales enablement as well. Number 8, deciding on a strategy before you've set a goal. This is a big mistake companies make. I made this mistake before where I'm already looking at who is the target customer for this product without having the higher level perspective of what's the objective. If the objective is to make $1 billion, that eliminates a lot of target customers, a lot of target markets that you can participate in because they're just too tiny. And sometimes this is a trade-off. Sometimes you cannot go after the customer that is the best fit for your product. You have to go after the customer that is a big enough group to reach your goal. The other thing that happens when you set a goal first is it puts time constraints on what SaaS marketing you can do. If you need to get results quickly, you can't be spending a lot of time on things like inbound content marketing. You gotta hit those cold emails. You gotta hit the LinkedIn ads. You gotta hit the Google ads. There are certain tactics that just don't work when the objective time frame is too small. Okay, and number 9, the final one, obsessing over tactics that barely matter. And the one that I see time and time again is deciding what time of day and what day to send an email. Who cares?